A $200,000 salary sounds like financial freedom. But what if it actually creates the opposite? That sounds impossible. But for many high earners in 2026, it's exactly what's happening. Not because they're reckless, but because the life they built around their income became too expensive to leave. Welcome to the $200,000 salary trap, and why more income doesn't always mean more freedom. Let's be clear up front. $200,000 is a lot of money. It's a level most people would consider highly successful. For many, it feels like the moment everything finally gets easier. The finish line. But high income and financial freedom are not the same thing. And that's where the trap begins. Because once you reach this level, something subtle happens. Your lifestyle doesn't just improve, it reorganizes itself around your income. And over time, that creates a new kind of pressure. Here's what most people don't see. The people caught in this trap aren't reckless. They're often educated, disciplined, and financially responsible. They budget, they invest, they think long-term. They're doing everything right. And that's exactly why the trap is so invisible. Let me show you what this actually looks like. Meet Sarah. She's 38 years old, lives in a city like Seattle or Boston, works as a senior product manager in tech. Her salary is $210,000 a year. After taxes and deductions, her monthly take-home is around $11,500. On paper, that's strong, so life should feel easy, right? But here's something important. Even now, she still checks her bank account before big purchases. Not because she's struggling, but because money decisions still carry weight. Now, let's look at where it goes. Mortgage in a good school district, $4,200. Because at this income level, renting starts to feel temporary. Buying feels like responsibility, and not just any home. A home that matches the life you've built. 2 car payments, $1,100. Because reliability becomes non-negotiable, comfort becomes expected, and slowly, lifestyle starts entering every decision. Insurance, $320. Groceries for a family, $1,200. Utilities, internet, phones, $450. Health insurance, $600. Childcare or private school, $2,500. Because once you have children, every decision starts feeling like their future depends on it. Student loans, $800. Subscriptions and services, $400. Investing in savings, $1,500. Dining out, travel, lifestyle spending, $1,200. Total monthly expenses, about $12,300. Monthly take home, about $11,500. On paper, it doesn't look catastrophic. In real life, it creates constant pressure. A car repair, a medical bill, a family trip, a few unexpected costs, and suddenly, the credit card balance starts to move. Then come the justifications. We'll fix it after the bonus. This is temporary. Next raise will balance it out. And slowly, without noticing, debt begins to form. Not reckless debt, not emotional debt, structural debt. The kind that appears when lifestyle grows slightly faster than flexibility. And this is where it gets dangerous, because nothing feels wrong. Nothing feels excessive. Every decision makes sense alone, but together, they create a system with no breathing room. Here's the truth. Sarah didn't make bad decisions. She made socially rewarded decisions. Work hard, earn more, buy a better home, invest in your kids, improve your life. From the outside, she looks successful, but inside the system, she's locked in. Because at $200,000 a year, most expenses become fixed. The mortgage, the cars, the tuition, the insurance, the lifestyle, and once these are locked in, they're hard to unwind. Then something subtle happens. You start thinking in the income you have, not just earning it, but structuring your life around it. I make good money. I can afford this. And technically, that's true, but there's a difference between I can afford this and I should build my life around this. One decision feels harmless. Another feels justified. But together, they quietly remove flexibility. And that's the trap. Because once your life is built around $200,000, you don't just earn $200,000, You need it to maintain everything you've already committed to. You're not broke, but you're not flexible either. And without flexibility, freedom starts to disappear. Now, compare Sarah with someone else. Same city, similar age, different structure. They earn $140,000 a year. Take home around $8,200 per month. Lower income, but different choices. Mortgage, $2,600. One car paid off, one newer car, $650. Insurance, $240. Groceries, $900. Utilities, $400. Public school. Childcare, $1,400. Student loans, $500. Investing and savings, $1,200. Flexible spending, $800. Total monthly expenses, about $8,690. They adjust when needed, they skip upgrades, delay spending, stay flexible. And over time, something powerful happens. Their net worth grows, not because they earn more, but because they preserve something Sarah lost. Margin. And margin is where freedom actually lives. Not income, not status, not lifestyle. Margin. The space between what you earn and what your life requires. The bigger that space, the more control you have. So why does this happen so often? 3 reasons. First, lifestyle inflation is invisible. It doesn't feel like a decision, it feels like normal life. Your environment defines your expectations, and slowly, normal becomes expensive. Second, expenses become sticky. At higher income levels, commitments grow. The house, the school, the lifestyle, and once built, they're hard to step away from. Sometimes emotionally harder than financially. Third, income gets confused with wealth, but they are not the same. Income builds lifestyle, wealth builds freedom, and they don't always grow together. Wealth is not what you earn. Wealth is what remains when you stop working. Your savings, your investments, your ability to keep living without income. Ask yourself one question. If your income disappeared tomorrow, how long could your life continue unchanged? For many high earners, the answer is shorter than expected because most of the money was never stored. It was spent on a better version of life, not a safer one. So what actually creates freedom? Not earning more, but keeping more of what you earn flexible. That's the shift. Financially secure people don't just upgrade their lifestyle. They split their income, part for living, part for investing, part for safety. Because they understand something simple. Lifestyle improves today, but flexibility protects tomorrow. They don't ask, can I afford this? They ask, does this increase my freedom or reduce it? They keep housing reasonable, not minimal, reasonable. They build reserves before upgrades. They invest before expanding expenses. They buy space before they buy status. Because they understand something most people miss. Income is temporary, structure is permanent. And if your structure needs $200,000 a year just to hold itself together, you're not financially free. You're financially dependent on your job, on your health, on everything staying stable. Here's the uncomfortable truth. More income doesn't remove financial pressure. It just upgrades its form. Less money stresses you about survival. More money stresses you about maintenance, and both can feel equally heavy. The goal was never to earn money to look successful. The goal was to earn enough freedom to make choices, because choices are what freedom actually looks like. So the real question isn't, how much do you earn? It's, how much of your life can still bend when things change? Because that space is where freedom lives. And the strange part is, most people only realize this after they've already lost it. Even high earners, even disciplined people, even those who did everything right. But here's what's interesting. Even people who understand all of this still end up trapped because there's a psychological pattern that causes many high earners to live paycheck to paycheck. Even at $150,000, even at $200,000, sometimes even more. We'll break down exactly why that happens in the next video. Because in the end, wealth isn't about how much money moves through your life. It's about how much freedom remains inside it. If this changed the way you think about money, income, and freedom? Subscribe to Fundora Finance. We explore the psychology of money and the real principles behind long-term wealth. No hype, no shortcuts, just clarity. Thanks for watching.